I like it. It needs bass. It needs bass, man. We're in the city of Los Angeles. Does anybody play bass in the house? Are there any bass players in the house? Any bass players around anywhere? There's some talented people. All right. It's Pete Wentz. There's a bass player in the house. That's Pete Wentz from episode 5. Hey, Pete Wentz. Bob Mervack, episode 16. I like it. I like it. I like it. Dax Shepard, Pete Wentz, give it up.
Guys. Pete Wentz, Bob Mervack. Welcome. Okay, well, I am not holding my own microphone. I am holding the most special member of our team's microphone. You know she loves boys. I'm almost crying just introducing her. Monica Padman, please come out.
Oh my God! Whoa!
We have one of my very favorite performers ever to be on Parenthood here tonight. He's frustratingly charismatic, more so than myself. His name was Mr. Sear on Parenthood. Please put your hands together for Jason Ritter, please. Welcome, Jason Ritter.
Thank you.
Do you guys remember how cute and irresistible Mr. Sear was? I sure do.
Come on. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Babe alert.
Thank you.
Fun fact I learned today about Jason, who I've now known for, I guess, 6, 7 years, maybe 8?
Something like that.
24 years.
24
and he was in the, you were in the credit sequence for Three's Company.
I was, yeah.
As a baby little boy, right?
As a baby little boy, yeah.
Were you a baby girl or boy then?
I was a little shirtless blonde child in overalls.
Uh-huh.
And there's a part where I guess Joyce DeWitt is feeding a goat. And I broke out of my mom's arms and waddled in.
Okay. To get closer to the goat, or?
I was pretty excited about the goat.
Right.
We were at the zoo. It was fun.
How did that come about?
I think it was a mistake, but then
Oh,
she
right.
she laughed and they liked it, so they.
But
they
were you
kept it
just
in.
there, like, visiting the day that, or was it kind of planned?
I don't really remember, but I think my mom would just take me around. We would go to his. She went to every taping of Three's Company.
Oh, really?
So yeah,
For 7 years.
yeah.
I can't get Chris. I don't think Kristen's here.
She is.
She's here.
She's very supportive. Go ahead, you can say hi,
You can
Mama.
come out.
That was like Beatles level.
Yeah, that was Beatles
Yeah,
level.
that's the difference between a real celebrity and.
I just went from almost crying and being grateful to being resentful and thinking about finding a divorce
Yep.
attorney.
Yep.
Does anyone know? Is there any divorce attorneys in the house? Anyways, well, one day
Yeah.
maybe Jason will have that effect on people.
Yeah. No, I didn't even know it was real. I saw those videos, the people who were like, like in the Beatles, and they're like passing out.
Yeah.
Pure.
Oh, we just lost 4 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't see because of the house lights, but people are being removed on stretchers for sure. Some people were smart and brought oxygen with them,
That's
anticipating that this might happen.
Yeah.
But your mom really went to every single one.
She did, yeah. You
Wow.
can actually, I can hear her laugh sometimes.
You're
and
kidding.
Yeah, she has like a very distinctive laugh, and I can pick it out. Also,
You said it
probably
sounds like a donkey getting choked, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, get her out of here. Who is that? Oh, okay.
No, I'm coming to everyone.
Howler monkey.
But you're from a long. You're actually, if Wikipedia is right, which is about half the time, you're 3rd generation actor. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It is weird.
Yeah.
That's gross.
Yeah.
Is basically
Really
what he
gross.
said.
It is bizarre. Yeah, my grandfather was a singing cowboy in the 30s.
Tex Ritter.
Tex Ritter, yep.
If this motherfucker wasn't a singing cowboy with the name Tex Ritter,
Yeah.
what a wasted opportunity. And did you call him Grandpa Tex? Or?
I actually never met him. He passed away before I was
Jesus,
born.
great.
That's,
No.
Dax.
So
Wikipedia.
Anything else I should know about before I continue? So you didn't meet Tex, but Tex was a
I
country,
didn't.
and he's in the Country Western Music Hall of Fame.
yes, he is. Yeah.
And what does that entitle him to? Do you know? Is there? It's just a.
You get a plaque,
Mm-hmm.
and you get. I'm not in it, so I don't know. I don't,
You'll learn when you
I'll
get
find
in.
out.
package,
I'll
yeah.
find out for us
Thank you.
during the,
Yeah.
during our
Monica
fact
will
check.
in the fact check explain everything that happens to someone indicted.
I have to take.
Get
Get
loose.
comfy.
Yeah.
I tried to. No, it's not. Nothing is very exciting about it. I just.
Spit up tea. Your knees are freezing.
No, I don't know why. I wore too many layers. I forgot there's gonna be.
I forgot I was going to be indoors.
Yeah.
Did you think we were doing this in the parking lot of Largo?
Yeah, I didn't know. I hadn't seen you in a while. I didn't.
Yeah, you don't know where my career's been. Yeah. It's a fair assumption it would be like a mattress warehouse super closeout sale. But Granddad Tex, he, God bless his soul, he passed. before you were in the mix. But grandma, I'm sorry.
No, it's true.
My granddad's dead as well. You
Yeah.
know.
That doesn't make it okay to talk,
it does. And
speak ill of granddad.
No, if
Passed.
no, I disagree. If he said like, yeah, I got prostate cancer, I'm like, yeah, me too. Get over it. Anything you have, you're like, yeah, I know, I got it too.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Oh,
On to
boy.
the next thing. Yeah. But Dorothy Faye.
That's my grandmother, yeah.
Yeah, and she married Tex.
She married
but
Tex.
she was with us for a little longer, I'm assuming.
She was with us for a lot longer. She was also an actor back in the day.
Right.
Yeah, they did a couple movies together and stuff like that. And
that was obviously your dad's folks.
my dad's folks, yeah.
It'd be weird if your mom's dad's name was Tex Ritter.
That would be weird.
Or your parents were related. Something. But so
I'm going to do this. I've decided.
Okay, you
Thank
committed.
you. It's better.
I predict in about 6 minutes that decision's going to change. Yeah. You know, bring Bob back out and do a theme song for when you
Start over.
change your mind.
Yeah.
So what will be hard for all of us here to understand, and what I think we're all probably curious about is, my goodness,
He's
my
so
friend.
uncomfortable. We've made
I'm
him
trying-
so
If you end
uncomfortable.
up under this fucking
I'm
couch,
trying.
I will not be shocked.
I'm trying to.
I wonder if it's better here, if the seat is better.
No, this is great. I'm just figuring it
Tex
out.
Ritter is so pissed at you right now in heaven. He's watching down and he's like, God damn it, son, just sit in the fucking chair. It's a chair, sit in it. You're gonna get me kicked out of the Country Music Hall of Fame posthumously.
No, I'd never.
No. But I think what probably none of us can relate to, and then in our fantasy, it's a much different experience, albeit it's probably not. You're pulling focus, Jason. This is something you did on Parenthood. I shouldn't be shocked you're doing it here. You inherited your father's great physical comedy.
Perfect for a podcast. You should see what I'm doing with this mic, you guys at home.
Ritter's on one hand, upside down, and he's holding the mic with his butt cheeks right now.
Which is hard to do. Give me some
There's
credit.
only 3 actors in the country that can do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I guess for me, when I think of your life as grandma and grandpa are successful actors, and then your parents are successful actors. I guess I have a fantasy of what that's like, but now that I'm raising kids and their parents are actors, I guess I don't think their childhood seems so different than mine did. We live in a much nicer house and stuff. But how aware of the uniqueness of that childhood were you? Did you just assume like every kid's granddad's in the Hall of Fame, or?
No, well, I think it takes a while for any child to realize that people have different sort of like lives than you start to become aware of things at different times. But yeah, initially I didn't know anything was strange. We would be walking around somewhere and someone would come up and tell my dad that they like loved him or something, and I'd be like, yeah, me too, we all do. It just sort of was like,
This
of course,
holds, yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing that I guess I really did think that somehow he was like, I think it was a combination of not fully understanding how the technology worked and also seeing like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids and stuff like that. I thought he was shrinking down and walking into, because sitcoms are usually shot like,
Oh, that's so cute.
there's not a lot of like close. It's like looks like kind of like a little shoebox diorama.
Right.
So I did think he was shrinking down. There
You thought he was
one time,
shape-shifting to be on...
and I do remember the first time that he was like there on the screen and in the room, and I was like, how? But yeah, then very soon I started to realize that.
Well, you
like,
start spending the night at other kids' houses, right? You're
Yeah.
like, that
Yeah.
guy's like a banker or whatever the hell
Right.
he was.
Yeah. I did start to. I started to realize
You start to take slumbers at strangers' homes.
Yeah, I did start
Yeah.
to take.
Which is
slumbers
his
at
own
strangers'
unique
homes.
experience as a kid, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Because people's houses smell different than yours.
Yeah,
And
they
it can be a bummer.
They can
Or
be
great.
Scary.
What's that?
Or great.
Or
great.
great. But I just, the ones that stand out in my head are like, I walk in there and I think, am I going to be able to get through this sleepover? Like, it's, smells like gym socks and bacon and baked beans. Can I do it?
There was one night where I was staying at my friend's house, and I had a lot of asthma as a kid growing up, and I had forgot my inhaler this night. I usually had it in my fanny pack, and I had it with me at all times, but I went to his house, and we fell asleep, and I woke up, and I had an asthma attack, and usually I would wake up my parents, but I didn't know what the protocol was at his house. So I wandered around the house for like 3 hours like a creepy little ghost. I was like,
oh my goodness.
Just like waiting for someone in the house to wake up and just kind of getting hungrier and just like, I'm sure if anyone saw me, it would have been terrifying because I just was like
they would have thought there was a
around.
possession or something, a spirit possession in the middle.
Yeah. Finally, they're like, his mom woke up and she's like, she was clutching. I probably did scare her in hindsight. But yeah, she was
scantily clad?
No, she had like a robe on. She must have heard like...
She had like a chilly robe on. She pulled it right out of the icebox and slid into it.
She did. Yeah, she caught me looking in the fridge too. It was like after 3 hours, I was like, I'm getting hungry. This is inappropriate. And then as soon as I opened the fridge, like a manifestation of like my secret shame that I was hungry, she was like, "What are you doing?" No, she didn't. She wasn't mad, but she helped me.
If you did walk into your kitchen and you just saw the back of a boy with the fridge open, and you heard.
It'd be
you
scary.
think he was masturbating into the ham or something?
Oh my God.
I was 7.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that is what I was doing, but how dare you? I wasn't.
Very mature of you to masturbate into a ham.
Thank you.
Before 14.
Thank you.
So how did that resolve itself? Did you die?
No, I survived. She took me home. I got my inhaler.
Came back?
No, I didn't come back.
Okay.
But I did remember my inhaler from that point on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That just makes me think, did you have an orthodontia? Did you have braces?
I did have braces. I had a retainer. Yeah.
And did you lose that retainer a bit?
No, I had the same retainer until it just stopped fitting me anymore. And I would just jam. I would like be an adult and I'd be like, oh yeah, these my
like
teeth are getting a little spaced
apart.
apart.
Of your car or something?
Yeah. I loved that retainer.
Well, we had a modest budget at our house, and I left it on a tray at a restaurant in Phoenix, Arizona, on a family vacation at Flaky Jake's across from ASU, and I threw that away. And then I realized in the car, I forgot my retainer. And then my mom and my stepdad, the one that were named Nameless, was not the kindest, most patient gentleman. They dug through like 12 trash bags and back, and they didn't find it.
Just like in the movie Parenthood, the kid loses his retainer, and Mary Steenburgen and Steve Martin dig through the trash.
That's our show, you guys. Thank
There we
you.
go.
Bye
Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, it's yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just and they were at it for like an hour.
Did they find it?
No. Completely fruitless endeavor. But I was just in the car like, how bad is this going to be? Like, the longer they're digging in trash, I'm assuming the worse the penalty is going to be. And they were just at it for a long, long time.
And then they gave up.
Yeah. And then I
What was the punishment?
Say what?
What was the punishment?
It was about a 4-hour lecture from. By the way, this was actually a turning point in my life. I thank him for it. It was one of the nicer things. He sat me down for about 4 hours and said, as you proceed through life, you should be thinking about what's coming next. When I watch you and you're making a sandwich, you seem to be like, what do I should open this drawer. Oh, I should grab that item. Like, you need to think about every step that's coming your way, so that you can just move through life efficiently. And so when you take this thing out, you should think, well, I shouldn't put it on the item that's going in the trash can. I should probably put it somewhere that's not going to end up in, you know what I'm saying?
I should start doing that. The way you just described making a sandwich, I'm like, yes, what's wrong with that? That is exactly.
Sounds normal.
Your process is you get the peanut butter out, you load it up with peanut butter on the knife, and then you're like, bread.
I feel like I have I've done that.
Have you done that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But learning lessons. How jacked were your teeth?
They were. Well, I actually
they're gorgeous
remember
right now. Let me just start there.
Thank you very much.
They look great.
They were. I actually was I had to when I got my teeth fixed, or even just the braces on, I had to kind of readjust my whole thing, because I used to be able to make people laugh just by smiling.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
Because I had 4 teeth that were just like this. Just like spaces in between this and this. And so I would do a thing where I go to the water fountain and I go, like 1 straight out and 2 at exactly like 45 degree angles.
Oh, wow.
And
Like
it was
the
a part of my
Bellagio water fountain show. Yeah.
and it was a part of my personality. I felt like I could just sort of smile, and they'd be like, "Look at that dopey guy," and then it changed my personality to. Oh,
most people would be
it.
like this, like walking around like this and drinking from the fountain privately. But now you put on a water show.
I did. I really enjoyed my my weird.
Well,
space.
similarly, it looked like God just took all my teeth and chucked them at my face, and they just went, and just landed. And then just popped me in the mandible and suck it back. So I had a gigantic overbite. Oh. And then just teeth everywhere. It was disgusting. I didn't feel like you did about those teeth.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I remember when people weren't looking, like you'd have that big science book, it's like this thick.
Yeah.
Like when no one was looking, I would be like, and I would shove it, and I could get a science book in that gap.
Wait, what?
It was a good 2.5-inch overbite.
Wow.
And then I'd be like, if someone looked over, I'd pull my science book out of my teeth. But I was in orthodontia for like 13. Do you like that I call it orthodontia?
I do
by the
like
way?
it.
Yes,
I've never heard that
Sounds
before.
scientific. But I had about 13 years. And
Jeez.
yes, from like second grade to senior year.
Wow.
Fucking brutal. Shockingly, I have dreams that my teeth fall out nearly every night.
I believe it.
Yeah, because they were just getting ratcheted at all times.
Gosh.
So you're growing up with your father's very successful, and your mother's also an actress, and she was actually in Grand Theft Auto with Ron Howard, another Parenthood callback.
Yes.
Yeah. There'll be 9 more, count them. Did she play the video game?
She never did. I did quite a lot. Yeah. But no, it was way before that video game. I think it was Ron's directorial debut. Yeah.
That's right. So at what age do you start thinking, oh yeah, I think I want to go into the family business?
I was pretty young initially when I wanted to. And then as I became like a teenager and I started to get a little bit more self-aware, I was very suspicious of my childhood self. I was like, you just wanted attention and all that stuff.
You were already like self-analyzing that much?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I've over the course of my life, I've done a lot of that.
A nice
Way
deep
too much.
dive on you.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And
Because you were suspicious that like, oh, I don't want to do this for the right reason. I just want attention. Is that what you're saying?
I kind of thought that. And then it was only towards the end of high school where I started to get a little bit less shy that I... Excuse me. That I went out and I tried
Also,
to do
your
it,
teeth
and then
look
I
great
really-
at that point. So you're like, who's going to
That's
want to
true.
look at me?
That's true.
Yeah.
They looked better than they did before. But
And what was their reaction? Were they supportive of it right out of the gates?
they were supportive of it in a way of like, this is, they weren't like, you can do anything and everything is fine. They were like, you really want to do it? All right, here's the books you have to read. Here's the performances you have to watch. It's a art form, like learn about it. And I was like, oh, I thought this would be easy. Never mind.
Yeah.
And
You spit some water out of your mouth and you're like, that's not enough?
They're like, not anymore. So they took me seriously and also made me want to like look at myself, and I think they wanted to make sure that I really was saying I want to be an actor and not like I just want to like
Be
be interviews or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
That's legit. Because I think I've talked about this before, but I do find it's very weird that a lot of our actor friends who have children are like, I do not want them to do this job.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you don't want them to go somewhere and like crack people up and then get a huge paycheck at the end of the day. Like, why?
Well, I think,
isn't that the best job you could have? There's no lifting. They make you lift something occasionally in a scene, but people are nice to you.
Oh no, it's back in.
Yeah.
No. Tried to do it subtly.
But I think that what they're scared of is that your child is saying, especially if they are actors themselves, your child is saying potentially, I want to open myself up to a lifetime of rejection.
Yeah.
And also where it's a strange art form, because unlike painting or photography or music or anything, the final product is so close to yourself that when it's not like, here's my painting and someone's like, it sucks, and you can go, the painting sucks, I'm okay. It's harder when you don't get stuff over and over and over again to not be like, something is wrong with me and the way that I interact with
I just
other.
did a 180. I think all those people are right. No one should go into this terrible profession.
I think people should do, if they really do have a passion for it. But I think that's the key that you want to sort of differentiate. Like, I don't know. I haven't.
And you took it seriously, and you went to NYU for acting, right? And
Yes,
you went to
I did.
Tisch School.
I did.
And my bride was there at that
She
time, right?
certainly
Did
was
you
there.
fuck my wife, Jason Ritter? You piece of shit. That's right, motherfucker. I had you here just to call you out. Why'd you fuck my wife, bro?
I certainly did
We
not.
were friends 15 years after that. What the fuck?
I certainly did not.
You would be so thrilled to find out they did.
I would. I
You would love
it. I'd absolutely
love
love it. It would just be ammo for me to tease her. Is all I'm really after at this point.
I will say that.
Do you remember her?
Yes, I do remember her.
Okay.
Everyone had a crush on your wife.
Those motherfuckers. And you know these dudes' names? You got their numbers?
Oh yeah, I got them all, dude.
Well, she did go on a date with Jake Gyllenhaal.
You heard it here first.
What's that?
All
I don't think
right.
I'm talking out of school. I think she's admitted that before. But I think they went on a date.
Okay, I don't.
He was a piece of ass even then, right? Girls liked him. Did you know Jake Gyllenhaal?
Yes, I did. Yes.
Are you saying the wrong thing?
No, I'm saying the correct thing.
Okay. You look like maybe.
I'm feeling embarrassed I asked him that. Like, it's just becoming like, and did you know Zach? I don't know. Just like, who do you know that's famous?
No, I did know him. I didn't know that they went on a date.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because you would have told me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, nice to meet you. I just want to tell you that.
Well, 29 years ago, I went to school with your wife, and she went on some dates. But you were aware of her.
Yes, we were not in the same class, but she was.
Because she was doing musical theater, and
Yes.
you were doing, like, stage.
I was doing I can't dance or sing theater.
Oh, okay. That's where I would have landed, too. Yeah.
Yeah. So we didn't have a lot of crossover, but we did have some mutual friends, and she was amazing and sweet then as much as she is now. She's just, she's an incredible person.
Yeah, I agree with that. But why didn't you ask her out? Sincerely. If she was this shiny, hot slice of tush, what the hell were you waiting for? Stay tuned for more live show after this exciting commercial break. Were you in a relationship that whole time? Because you're a serial monogamist. You've had a lot of long-term. Right?
I was in my sophomore year. I had my sort of first relationship. I think I did meet her in my freshman year, but I also I never quite figured out how to like start a conversation
To
like
carpe
that.
diem? To seize the day?
Yeah, nope, not me.
So you weren't... It blows my mind because I've been in your presence many times around females, and they really like you. Like, they like you so much, I'm mad when we're together because you're magic and sparkly like Kristen Bell. Like, Monica watches Parenthood every night to go to sleep.
Still. Even still.
And what would you rank your Mr. Sear crush out of 10?
10.
You guys.
Full-blown 10.
Thank you.
I'm embarrassed, but it is true.
In fact, I feel like I had a really good thing going on Parenthood until you arrived.
Oh, yeah. Crosby got knocked down.
Yeah. Even on set, I was like, oh, I'm the kind of left of center, fun misfit. Oh, great. Look at this guy. They seem to be
So charming and nice.
I know. It's really infectious. So, but I have to imagine sincerely that girls liked you all through school and stuff, right? Were you just unaware of it?
I have been told that I was unaware of some things.
Okay.
But I also, I was just bad. I couldn't.
Do you think it's because your general self-awareness is low or your self-esteem was low?
I think,
you think you're
a
just
little bit of
missing
both.
shit, or?
I think a little bit of both.
Okay, nice cocktail of both.
My nightmare of all time would be to like misread a clue, whatever. So I would always err on the side of like, that was a friendly remark.
Right.
And I could never really. I was too scared to put myself.
I think fell off. That probably makes the most sense in this situation. Occam's razor. That shirt fell off. Well, yes. I couldn't figure out how to start a conversation, or I would be like, let me put in a full year of very subtle flirting. Let me sit 3 seats away because my friend told me that this science class we're being put into groups of 3. And if I sit here, then I'll be in a project with her. Maybe I'll make her laugh once or twice. And pop up
in
a couple
3
laughs.
years,
You started in 9th grade, so you're like, I'm going to senior prom with her. I'm on the perfect timeline to be taking Debbie to senior prom.
It was basically like that.
So is it safe to say then the relationships you ended up in, these gals made the first move? Or they asked you out?
Yes.
Or they
for the most
roofied you,
part.
I guess?
No one roofied me.
In the 90s? No, I don't know.
No one did that, but yes, there were, certainly most of my first sort of things
Liaisons.
took me by surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it too personal?
Not in like a bad way.
Is it too personal to ask when you got sexually active? What age?
You can say yes, it's too personal.
Yeah, that's a totally good name. I'll tell you.
Nothing's too personal for you.
Yeah.
What do you,
you could do a man or a woman. There could be 2 ages. You don't have to. I can tell you don't want to answer.
I lost my virginity sophomore year of college.
Okay. Oh, the guys.
So
that makes me like you a lot, even more.
Oh,
You really didn't make a first move.
No. Well,
because you're so cute and funny and likable. I thought for sure you would have been like a Too Short song or something in high school. Sophomore year in college.
It was weird because
really
I remember my roommate and I who had similar sort of success.
Okay.
Not too much. We were in high school and we were like, college is where we've heard it. And then both of us made it all the way through freshman year.
Yeah, at any point do you start panicking? Like, oh, wow, this timeline is...
Yes, I did. And in fact, at a certain point, I had like this big kind of realization because I had really been feeling...
horny?
Incomplete.
Horny as fuck for 8 years straight? I had like this, it was like a pressure. It was like this pressure, and it was like welling, and then there was some stiffness, and it was kind of all-consuming.
Yeah, exactly. No, I have been going around being like, I need someone else to. I was putting so much focus and attention on it, and it was really driving me crazy.
Right.
And it was really frustrating. And
It can start to become a thing.
it had started
right?
to really like eat away at me.
Yes.
And then in sophomore year, I was like, actually, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna I'm
It'll
gonna make
happen
myself happy, and I don't
Yeah.
like I've been doing since 1994. No, I was like, I'm gonna. There's no way to say that without it sounding like I
Yeah. Laid
touched
into
myself, which I
yourself.
never.
You still haven't done.
No, I've heard about it.
You're waiting for your hand to hit on you.
I don't want to misread.
You just keep staring at your hand like,
Hey, so you ready for the test on Friday?
look at this. What are we going to do about this? That's cumbersome.
Oh, gosh. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy, it's moving. Oh, boy, this could be something.
Oh, gosh. I actually...
And then, so after all that, like, kind of obsessing about it, then did it just all of a sudden come out of nowhere and just happen?
Yes, kind of.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I could talk to you about sex for the rest of my life. And I would have, like, your third story out of you by the end of our life.
Yes,
Were you nervous about telling the gal? Because at this point you're 20 years old, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. So are you nervous to go like
19. 20.
20?
I'm trying to... Yeah.
Did that become something you're like, oh my gosh, now I'm gonna have to tell this person like I've never done it, or was your game plan to go like act like you've done it a bunch and then later post-coital go? So anyways, that was fun and my first time. Sure.
She knew it was my first time. I think... Yeah.
You told her ahead of time.
I think I did.
Okay. That's great.
It was a long time ago now, but
There's so many partners too between then and now. It's like, how do you keep it? I wish I was half the person you are. You're such a good, wonderful person.
No,
I'll tell you what happened. Tex Ritter just smiled his ass off in heaven. He was mad about how you were sitting in the couch, but now he's really proud of you.
Good. Thank you.
Yeah. They just reinstated him into the country Western Hall of Fame. Next to Tammy Wynette and whoever else is in there.
Oh, I'm even hotter than I was before I took this thing off.
Now, the one thing I did wonder is, did you have any hang-ups or issues or just like kind of internal mental racket about becoming an actor and trying to stake out your own identity and being in your father's shadow? Like, is that something you thought about a lot, or that wasn't an issue for you?
It would come and go. There was, I have a part of my personality that's very like stubborn and just will sort of put my foot down, especially when it comes to my own behaviors and things like that. And I was determined when I decided I wanted to be an actor. I was sort of determined to either succeed or fail on my own.
Right.
Like I would have been. I saw people kind of like just kind of get stuff and go, and I saw all the other actors be like, well, we know how that guy got that part, and they all hated that person. I was like, well, all right, I'm gonna just. So I started to like audition for things, and yeah, initially it was nice and tough at the same time.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, right?
Yeah, because people
They
liked
love
my dad.
No, people love your dad. Yeah, he's one of them.
So it was, I thank you very much.
Yeah.
I did too. Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's really weird is prior to doing this interview with you, you and I have been friends for a long time, and we've had a bazillion conversations, and I've never spoken to you about your dad, 'cause I've always been like,
that's true.
I don't know, like when people are children of someone really famous, inevitably a lot of people in their lives are interested in that. And I didn't want to ever be that person, but then because we never spoke about your dad for 8 years, then I was like, well, I wonder if he doesn't enjoy talking about his dad. And then I was curious to find out about that tonight.
No, it was not. The thing that was difficult initially was, I would go to camp or I would go to a place where people didn't know me, and I'd be trying to make friends and having a certain amount of success and some not successful, friendship making. And then there would be this moment where people would kind of find out.
Yeah.
And then I would there'd be people coming up to me and being like, "Hey, my son, hey,
Yeah.
is your dad coming?"
Mike
at
Mitchell.
the end of the exactly.
I'm in bunk C.
And people
You
got
got a cribbage partner? Have you picked one yet?
People get better at hiding that stuff as you get older,
Yeah.
but when you're a child, their excitement was so true, and I could read it, and then I could see that, but it felt like they liked me, not with anything to do with me.
100%.
So I would accept their friendship in a way, but I would also kind of remember that they weren't very nice to me before.
Yeah.
And I could just tell. And my meter for detecting kind of that sort of energy got pretty high.
Right.
So
But what's
yeah.
so weird, though, is that I can only imagine how confusing it could be, because that certainly could be initially why someone was drawn to you, because you were too shy to go introduce yourself, or right? But then 5 seconds after meeting you, Jason Ritter, who I know, you could just genuinely be in love with you, and then so the whole thing could be confusing in your head. It could actually, it's like in a movie where the undercover cop's got to fall in love with the dude.
And then he does.
And then she really does.
Oh, yeah.
But then he doesn't know.
Right, exactly.
That's kind of your life. That was your life. You
That-
were
yes.
like the mob boss.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's I know it was you.
But it was certainly, probably a great majority of the time, did turn into something just very genuine. But it started on that foot and just very confusing. I don't know how you navigate that.
There would definitely be times also where I would have to look at my reaction to them and my sort of judgments about they're 8. They're excited that and I'm like, "Oh, that's your shallow," it's not.
You star fucker. You 8-year-old star fucker.
But it was confusing because you sort of want to have an idea that people. Some people are fine with that. Some, I know people who.
Well,
are
there's
like,
also celebrities that are fine with that.
Totally.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
they can really enjoy that and embrace that, and they're not questioning why.
For sure. Yeah, I just for some reason I always made me go on my back foot a little bit, but
Sure.
But there'd be times where I would go in for an audition and they would be like, "Your dad was so funny, and everything that he said, we were rolling on the ground. He just was like comedy gold." And then I would do my audition, things would be shaking. And I'd get to the first joke, and I'd look up, and no one's rolling on the ground or having fun.
Out there, it's Tuesday. In here, it's Friday. At TGIF Friday. It's always Friday. Friday. That was a real audition I had to do.
When I would lob a joke out there and it wouldn't get a laugh, I would feel like a wave of generational shame just all down my body. All my ancestors was like, "That's embarrassing. You should have nipped this in the bud a long time ago."
You didn't get it.
Do you think that experience made you sort of generally less trusting or guarded?
I think it just. Well, it was interesting because a lot of the jobs that I got originally were more dramatic roles because anytime I had to do something funny, it would be like, let's have all of my insecurities just pile on right before I go into a room. And I only recently I feel like I've been
Started enjoying doing comedy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess it'd be like if you were Michael Jordan's son and you were a damn good basketball player, but you're not fucking Mike Jordan. Maybe switch to baseball. Which is kind of what you did. You focused on drama, right?
Yeah. It was
but
also
do you
just
think in your cells are you more drawn to comedy or drama?
I don't know. You know what I really loved is
Dramedy.
Parenthood. Yeah. No, but that thing where it's that to me is the most like life, where you're like, that was funny. I'm crying my head off.
Yeah.
And it's all kind of mixed together. That to me reminds me of the experience that I recognize.
It's kind of why Bill Murray is my favorite comedian doing dramatic work because he never pretends he's not funny and unique and charming. Like even if he's in a very heavy movie, he doesn't pretend he's not that thing. Yeah. And people like him are in real life terrible situations, and they still, Yeah, exactly. I just went through one, and my role in my family is the court jester. Like I'm cracking jokes at terrible times, and that's part of real life. Yeah. I'm just trying to break that tension. So you went from NYU then to Royal Academy of Dramatic Acting in London. Is that
dramatic arts?
Dramatic arts.
It doesn't really. For one semester, I went there.
Oh, like a study abroad thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a study abroad thing, and I was really scared of it, and I had like a little rule in my brain since 8th grade where if something scared me, I would try to look at what I was scared of, and if it wasn't like physical harm, if it was more like emotional or like I could be embarrassed, especially if it was I'm just scared of being embarrassed, I would force myself to do it, to try to get out of my shyness, which felt like I started to feel, actually this is what, it wasn't even, I started to get really oppressed by the word, like by people being cool. That was like a thing in the 90s. I don't know if anybody, but being cool and like being like, which seemed to me to mean like nothing is quite good enough. Like everything's not great. You're over it. You're kind of like, and for me, I always was kind of like, did you see this thing?
Enthusiastic.
So I got told to take a lot of chill pills and stuff like that. And
that's what the worst thing you could hear in the 90s too.
Dude.
Take a chill pill.
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, oh my goodness, what have I done? This is terrible.
Exactly.
What faux pas did I make? But was London a party?
I was.
Because you could drink, you could go into. You were going into pubs and stuff.
Yes, we were going into pubs. There's a lot of drinking over there.
And societally, the roles are reversed over there. No one will believe this, but Monica will fact check it. But I learned this in an anthropology class. During World War II, an inordinate amount of English females got pregnant from American GI soldiers. But the American women did not get pregnant from the English soldiers. And so they did a study on why that was, and they found out that culturally, in America, the woman's role is to put the brakes on, like we should wait. But it's reversed in England, and it's the man is supposed to say traditionally, let's wait and let's put the brakes on. So when you got an English woman and an American dude, no one had a brake pedal. Everyone's just like, fucking floor it!
Oh, wow. That's not my experience. But.
And I...
But that's because I
was going to tell a different part of the story, but now it's not like I'm bragging. But I had a sexual encounter in 11th grade on a snowboard trip to Vermont.
Cool.
With it, it was awesome.
I'm impressed.
But what was happening was I met this gal snowboarding. She was Jenny. She was from Manchester, England. And then that evening, she came over to our little condo we were all staying in, and we had some cocktails. And then the next thing you know, we're in a walk-in closet because my buddy's dad was staying in the bedroom. And it's heavy petting's turning into this and that. And then the next thing, I'm just thinking, what? We're about to do this. Why isn't she saying anything? And then we did it. And for 7 years, that was confusing to me. I mean, for 7 years, I would think that was such a layup. Why did it go that way? And then I had this anthro class, and I found that out. I was like, oh my goodness, finally it makes sense. Wow.
So when did you give her your curated mixtape? Then I'm curious.
I did send her a mixtape.
Oh, good. Okay, there you go.
I became pen pals with her.
Oh.
I'm just gonna say her whole name, Jenny Hazelton.
Jenny, where are you? Come on out. Come on out.
And that was in the winter, and then we were going to meet in the summer in Florida, and we did that, but then she brought her boyfriend. She warned me about a week before the trip that I had scheduled, my friend Ken Kennedy. She said, P.S., I'm bringing my boyfriend. And I'm like, I'm still coming, I like road trips, and we're still going to Florida. And then I meet this guy, and his name was Pete. and he played for the Manchester rugby team.
Whoa.
We were both 17, and we were the same size and general build, medium build. And at one point, I thought, I'm going to wrestle this guy.
Oh my
Which
God.
I did on the beach.
It's a good place.
Yeah. It's ideal for
Soft
wrestling
place.
is the sand.
Yeah.
And I fancied myself a really good wrestler, too, you should know.
Oh, good.
So in my mind, I'm going to have this turkey in a headlock within 30 seconds. Jenny's going to regret bringing him. I've never felt a human being stronger in my life.
Oh, wow.
These rugby players are so strong.
I've heard that, yeah.
He manhandled me. I never felt more powerless in my life. I was like, oh, and then I was like, I had my arm behind my back, and then I was like, I think I was over his shoulder, and then I'm like, oh my God, his quads are so powerful, and he beat the shit out of me on the beach.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but in a gentleman way, because he was
Yeah.
English. Anyways, I'm so sorry that I got down that little path.
God.
I really like this guy, Pete. I was
Yeah.
in love with him more by the end of the trip. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
So you finish all this schooling,
Yeah.
and you come back and you start working. The first thing I ever saw you in was Happy Endings,
Oh, yeah.
which was Don Roos's movie.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. There's been a bunch of Happy Endings now.
There's a show.
TV show.
Yeah.
There may have been a couple
I think they
shows.
were fans of the TV show. I don't want to be
Okay, fair enough.
negative. No.
Check out the movie.
The movie's fantastic, and then Don Roos wrote and directed it, and we
Yeah.
absolutely adore him.
He's
right?
amazing, yeah.
Yeah, I cannot say. He says some of my favorite sayings I've stolen from him. He said one time, people are always trying to work on their fear, like not be as fearful. He said, but the world is a scary place. We did host the Holocaust here, after all. And I'm like, solid point,
Yeah.
That wasn't as funny to them as it was to me. When I heard that, I was like, what a take on that.
Yeah. No, he is amazing. And he does have lots of sage advice and pearls of wisdom all the time.
Yes. And he wrote Marley and Me.
That's right.
Yeah, for the dog lovers here.
Yeah.
And then, what's the first, Parenthood, you'd already done the event, is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So I want to tell a funny story about...
Actually, no. I did the event during the second season of Parenthood.
Yeah, we kind of lost you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not only were you more charismatic than me on the set of Parenthood, which was hard for me to swallow,
That's not
you
true.
were also the only one of us that got nominated for an Emmy.
That's a crime. Thank you very much. I would like to say that is an absolute travesty.
I don't think so.
Everyone on that show should have been nominated.
I don't think so. But it happened to the perfect person. It really did. Like, we all collectively agreed at a lunch. We were like, if it had to be anyone, I'm glad it was Ritter. I don't think we could have handled it if it was one another,
Right,
or the mom,
exactly. Yeah.
Bonnie Bedalia.
Oh, yeah.
So it was perfect that it was you.
Oh, I appreciate that.
But at one point, it must have been during the event, because I already knew you. You had done season 1, and then they make you do this thing when you're on a television show. They make you go to this thing called Upfronts in New York.
Yes.
And you go there and you sit on a stage, and it's super awkward, and everyone that's on an NBC show sits on a stage, and there's like ad buyers there or something. But anyways, suffice to say, they fly everyone out, and generally when you get to LAX, you're leaving on that flight to New York, and there's a bunch of other actors in the first class lounge.
Yeah.
And you were there.
Yeah.
And it was like a 10 a.m. flight. And I looked over at you, and you were just crushing a big golden glass of beer. And it looked so delicious.
Yeah.
And you were just having such a great time. It was 9 a.m. And Will Arnett was there.
Yeah.
And you and Will and I ended up in the bathroom together at the same time. And some guy farted in a manner that I can only imagine.
I actually still think about this, and it makes me laugh every time, because I put myself in this guy's shoes, and he's at an airport.
Oh, no.
He's also in the lounge, like a fancier bathroom.
Yes, he's expecting to have a
and
nice
he
experience.
has to go to the bathroom in a public, which is never fun.
No.
And then he's just in there, and he's probably trying to be quiet. And then
Heavens
one
to
slips away,
Murgatroyd.
and he goes,
All hell breaks loose.
and Will goes, "Get some." And then I laughed laughed like an idiot, and I could not
me
stop
too.
laughing. And I was like, I wanted to be like, we're not laughing at you. We're more laughing at like the fact, like you keep doing you. You're doing great.
And you just undersold Will's "Get Some" because
yeah.
he goes, "Get some!" Like it was so
get
loud.
some.
I can only imagine how that guy felt.
I know,
He was
just like-
probably just like this at first.
Get
that,
some
that
what?
happened. Get some. And he was like,
Oh gosh.
but I remember being jealous of you drinking those morning beers because what a way to start the afternoon. And then that great get some moment happened.
Yeah.
And then I think I saw that you had a couple more beers on the flight.
Okay.
Which says, yeah.
We get it.
Yeah.
And I was just really jealous. And I was like, yeah, I really wish I could be like Jason and just have some pops on the way to New York. But then,
God. Yeah.
then Sunday rolled around. That was like Thursday.
Yeah.
Super jealous of you. All weekend I was thinking about
Oh, wow.
how casually you were having those beers.
Yeah.
But then Sunday, it was time to check out of this hotel and fly back home. So I'm checking out, I'm in the lobby, trying to figure out how I'm getting to the airport, and I see Jason, and I'm like, oh, what's going on? And he launches into this story about like, oh, I'm just trying to get my baggage to be held by the bellhop while I straighten out my lodging. I'm gonna go to some place at 2 or whatever. And the story's making less and less sense. And then all of a sudden it occurs to me that Jason didn't just wake up and come down to the lobby like I have. And I go, hey, are you still up by chance from last night? And you go, oh yeah, And then I was like, oh, I'm not jealous of those beers.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
So you were like me. You really enjoyed drinking.
I really did. And actually, Don Roos was like one of the first guys who I would tell my crazy stories about like the 17,000 times I drank a little too much.
Yeah.
He was like one of the first people who wasn't like, you're crazy, you're awesome.
Yeah.
He was like, huh.
You should take
Are
a
you
chill
okay?
pill.
Yeah, you should maybe take a chill pill. And
Yeah, because I will pat myself on the back. I never say anything to you. I never guilted you out or anything.
No,
right?
he didn't even guilt me
Yeah,
anyway.
no.
But eventually I realized that drinking was not serving me. Initially, it was for a lot of people. For me, it was like it helped. I thought that it helped me be more social. Like
Sure.
For a shy,
Yeah.
for some. But it did, but not in the ways that I.
Well, no, it does for the first 3 or 4 hours.
Yeah.
But it's like in the lobby of the hotel at
The next
10,
morning,
like trying
yeah.
to figure out some lodging scheme you had, where they're gonna somehow hold your luggage, but still.
I don't remember what
Confuses
that
me.
was
Yeah.
about.
I doubt you remember that whole exchange. Do you?
I do remember that
Oh, you
exchange.
do? Oh, okay.
No, I wasn't like drinking until like 5 in the morning.
Oh, okay.
I had drunk, and then I would do this thing in New York where I get very nostalgic in New York because that's where I went to school.
Right.
And so I just would walk all night, and that I believe that night I walked to where my school was. I would always like go to the building where I studied.
Which is
and
crazy
be like,
far from the hotel we were.
It was
staying
crazy
at.
far,
Yeah.
but the party was even further uptown. I walked like 70 blocks that night.
Oh my
And
god.
and I got to where my school was, and the building had been demolished.
Razed.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Really?
And I just was standing there like 4 in the morning, like, wait, but that parking lot was only this, and now it's this big. But this is the building. Yeah, it took me a while.
And did you keep thinking, well, I must have screwed up. There's no way the building's not here.
I did think I screwed up for a little while, but then I went home and I needed to figure out some lodging and baggage situations.
Sure.
apparently.
A lot of logistics to sort out.
Yeah, exactly.
And coming off that depressing blow to your
Well,
nostalgia.
I had picked up a Snapple at the thing. That had made me feel better. Yeah, exactly.
But yes,
You get a Snapple, and it's made of glass, and so once you finish it, you like whip it up in your plastic bag, and it can be a weapon if you need it to.
Interesting.
Yeah.
a little homegrown New York secret for anyone.
You always want to have like something.
If you
just
take
in
a
case.
family vacation this summer
Yeah.
to see the Statue of Liberty,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
grab some Snapple bottles.
Yeah. You're gonna be walking around so late.
So I can relate very much to that feeling of you drink this thing and then all of a sudden you think the version of you is very tolerable and palatable, right? Like you start, if you're like me, you start liking yourself a bit more, and there's some great relief in that. Yeah.
I think, yeah. I also think there was like the thing that I figured out. Like as a teenager was one of the ways that I sort of made friends was I would do something that other people wouldn't do. I was like the crazy one or something. That was how I I'll slam my head into anything. You know, it was like weird stuff.
Yeah.
But that's how I felt like. So there was an extension of that. In other words, there was something about like just me somehow isn't like enough. I have to like
Johnny
do
Knoxville
something.
or
I have
something,
to, yeah. And I would, I mean, yeah, I'd climb something or I'd jump in a water body or I'd go to a cliff or just dangerous things. And
smash your car into a telephone pole.
I never did that. No, I never did that.
Did you end up getting some pretty good injuries?
Yeah.
Some
I
drinking
scratched
related.
myself up, and I would, I always loved like climbing stuff and doing things like that as a kid.
Yeah.
So I would try to get, like up high somewhere, which is not such a bright thing.
Right, just to
And
get a
so I would
bird's eye
fall
view
and-
on everything.
Yeah. And I would, I'd fall and scrape myself, and I hurt myself, not ever severely. But I definitely have some scars from those times. So,
Any broken bones?
No, all my broken bones were sober broken
Okay.
bones. Yeah. But but then I at a certain point I realized that it was not making me happier, and I took that crutch away from myself.
And did you find that like the first year was maybe a little like, here's my thing, when there were little things I could have never predicted about quitting drinking, which one was the first year I quit drinking, I went on vacation with my ex-girlfriend, and I got there and I was like, what on earth do you do on a vacation? Like, what we would do is we'd go to a bar and get drunk, and then you'd meet somebody and they'd invite you somewhere, and then it'd lead to this. Like it
Right.
just, once you put a few drinks down, everything took care of itself.
Right. Yeah.
I was like, now we got to plan everything. Like, all my adventures just started with 2 Jack and Diets, and then I just had a whole host of memories from that. But there were like just tons of activities I had not known how to do sober. And so that like first year or two, I guess what I'm asking is, has it gotten easier where it's like you kind of reprogram your muscle memory? And
It's gotten easier. I mean, yeah, you like, especially for me, it was like going to parties or being somewhere where there were people that I don't really know or I didn't, and like I felt like I really like needed one or two just to. And so it was interesting to get to those and just be like, I'm not giving myself that, and then just have a few conversations where I'm just like I felt like the most boring. I'd just be like, yeah, hi. It's like, I put on a tie. And just like, they're like, oh, okay.
I
whatever.
drove here, did you?
Yeah, exactly. And I'm driving home.
I parked.
Yeah, exactly.
Where did you park?
So that was definitely like but it was also interesting because then I was forced to kind of see what happened without that, and it was in terms of like my own, like I always wanted to like never be stuck in a rut, or I always wanted to like explore like the next thing or look at the next thing, and so it was interesting in that way, just as a sort of
An
life
experiment.
Yeah.
I have that similar thought. I've said several times that even if I wasn't forced to quit through an addiction, I do feel like I would have gotten to the point where I was like, okay, well, that was 2 decades. I'm ready for another adventure or just another thing.
Yeah.
And the one thing I remember craving a ton, and it became like a goal of mine that I then reached at like maybe year 8 or something, where it was like, I just wanted to remember what it was like being 14, where I was fucking on fire to walk out my door and get into some shit, like to have a hobby, to go do some stuff. Like, I remember like a good chunk of my life just being on fire for being alive.
Oh yeah, I remember that too. I remember this thing where like my friends and I got really into stealth and like speed. and I got really into running. Just like not
quietly?
Quietly and just like a jaguar. And like I would just like, and I remember like running and like getting to this point where I was running so fast that it felt like my legs were just like not like just catching the ground.
Oh, sure,
and I was
sure.
just flying, and the wind would go like past my ears, and it would be like, and I couldn't hear anything. And then I'd go to the side, and then I could hear stuff. And then I go the wind, and it was
And
very
it looks like
exciting.
you were slicing the wind,
Oh
right?
yeah, I was
just
like
slicing it.
fully T2 in it, and yeah, and I loved that, and I loved like being sort of that, like just this weird sort of like. There was a period of time where I was a little bit of a weirdo kid, and I would I was like, I need to maximize all of my like abilities.
Oh wow!
And so there was a thing where I figured out how I could walk as fast as possible.
Okay.
And I just like without running, like just under a jog, but like the maximum walking speed.
Yeah.
And I figured that out, and I was so excited. And then I realized, like in about 7th grade, that like being like being so fast and being like I was in class first was like not this. So I actually then had to retrain myself to walk slower.
Oh, that must have been
and
hard.
cooler.
Yeah.
But then
It's like putting a race car in rush hour traffic.
exactly.
They don't drive so nice.
I know, and I had to be like, well, I still want to be on class on time, so I better leave about 2 minutes. With my new slow walk.
And were
that's
you?
like, I don't know where I'm even going. I'm just ambling around.
Were you preparing for something? And were you training for a specific event? Do you think? Did you want to be an assassin?
I did want to be
A ninja.
Yes, I wanted to be a ninja.
Yeah. Why
Ninja
did we
Turtles.
all want to be a ninja? Oh, 'cause
Ninja
of that.
Turtles.
Yeah. 'Cause I'm
Ninja
5 years
Turtles.
older than you. I didn't have Ninja Turtles. I had like Chuck Norris and shit.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Breaker.
Oh, yeah.
Bruce Lee.
Oh yeah, those guys.
Yeah.
We had Michelangelo and Leonardo and Donatello
Sure.
and
Yeah.
Raphael.
How about Jean-Claude Van Damme? Did you like him?
I got into those movies later.
Okay.
I liked.
But you
a lot
were
of
never
animated-
working splits into your repertoire of training.
No.
Okay.
No, I never did. I never got.
I'm
that
surprised you
flexible.
didn't identify that as a weakness in your overall training.
Well, now I do.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Thank you.
Good.
I'll work on the splits.
So I want to ask you a couple career things
Yeah.
because I have you. Tell me the pressure, or do you experience it or not? Because you've now been the face of a couple different series.
Yes, sure.
Like most recently, Kevin Probably Saves the World.
Yeah.
But the event, you were pretty much
Thanks.
on every single billboard. And going into those things, do you feel the pressure of that?
Yes, I do. More so on Kevin Probably Saves the World. I feel like the event, there were enough different storylines and everything that it really did feel like an ensemble, and that's where I feel the most comfortable anyway. And every show is an ensemble, but it is bizarre. It is, yeah. It
Well,
does
when you're
feel
playing
a
the
little,
title character, I'm presuming you were
yeah,
Kevin. Yes.
yeah. So then I did feel a lot of pressure and sort of that is a little bit scary, and I feel like you take it a little bit more personally when
Yeah.
people don't watch.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, guys. It's not your fault. Shows get canceled all the time.
But when I can't really say this about many people, but you're probably the last person I would ever be concerned about something getting canceled. Like you're just hyper talented and so likable and charming, and you really walked into parenthood with this crazy established cast, and then just like shined as brighter than anyone that was on it, except for Mae Whitman. Which, by the way, we both have a mutual love of Mae Whitman, right?
She's one of the most amazing human
Yeah.
beings in the world.
Yeah.
She really is.
Did you think she was 12 when you met her?
I didn't think she was 12, but I wasn't sure.
Right. This was on this week's podcast. Like, when I met her, she was 21, but I thought she was 14. And she came at me with a super pervy first line.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh my God, get me out of this. I just wanted to like pull a cord and get fucking ejected up into space. Because I had no idea how to handle that. Like a 12-year-old girl saying something perverse.
Yeah.
Her first line to me was like, what's up, perv? Oh, by the way, because you guys probably, if you heard that episode.
I heard it too.
This is the face. Okay, good. This is the face.
So why
would've
were you
asked-
doing that?
I tried to imagine what that face was, and I didn't ever.
You never
get
saw us
that.
doing that on
No.
set? Because you just tell a story, you'd be like, you see Crafty? They got chicken wings.
That is very disturbing.
Krauser wasn't here today, so I parked in a spot. It's like a way to say, like, I just crushed that.
Right. Yeah. That is amazing.
So yeah, apparently I was doing that unbeknownst to me, and then I look over and I see her and she goes, "What's up, perv?" And I was like,
She's a straight shooter.
"She really
will
she
tell
goes
you like it is.
right to the jugular."
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, and you guys had a great friendship, and it was a wonderful little triangle. But I was competing for her. In fact, I often ask her if she liked you more than me.
Really?
Yeah, and she was nice enough to lie.
Oh, okay.
But so I guess my question is, when you were offered that, did you go like, oh man, I don't know if I want to do that. Like, I don't know if I want to take that big of a swing.
In that specific show, I just loved the whole script so much and the whole idea that I only thought about all that stuff
Like
later.
playing it.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
was
yeah.
so excited to be part of this show that I thought was funny and weird and kind of was like a plea for kindness and empathy towards people. And I was like, I need this just for me.
Uh-huh.
And it was only when I saw the billboards that I was like, oh, what are they doing? Why is it? That makes me nervous.
And do you ever like try to remind yourself to extend to yourself the same thought process you extend to everyone else you're friends with? Like,
That's still hard for me.
it's hard, right?
Yeah.
Because you'll have friends that have a show that doesn't work, and you never ever think, oh, it didn't work because of that person. You go like, oh, for whatever reason, that wasn't in the zeitgeist, or that didn't have some stickiness that these shows need. It's just so clearly just the product for whatever reason. But when
Right.
you're in it,
Yeah.
like, I'll tell you an example. So I think that I've tanked a lot of movies. Like, I'll go like, oh, I brought that movie down.
Right.
And I got really close to the last Coen brother movie. What one was it? With
Hail
Caesar. Yeah, like I went and read for the casting director, then I got called to read for them, which was so exciting, and then they brought me back, and I ended up reading for them like I think 3 times, and I had
Holy
read for
cow.
them. So there was a moment where I was like, oh my god, I'm going to be in a Coen Brothers movie. This is so exciting, and then I wasn't, and then it came out and it didn't do well financially, and I'm like, I'm so grateful I wasn't in the movie because I know I would say
yeah.
it was entirely my fault. I'd be like, God, I even crushed a Coen Brothers movie. Like I would wear that for the rest of my life.
Yeah, I mean, aside from Parenthood, almost every other show I've been involved with has gotten canceled. So
But and when it's that's how you think of it. But then in reality, almost every show gets canceled.
Every show
that's
gets
just the
canceled.
nature of shows.
that is true. That's true. Thank you.
Like the actual odds are, people sell a show, they buy like, I don't know what they buy, a couple thousand pitches a year, and then they end up greenlighting 15 pilots, and then they bring 4 of those to series, and then maybe one of those makes it. So of the 1,000, it makes to the one. It's just an incredibly
It's
daunting
low.
odds.
Yeah, exactly.
Back to your point about having a child actor.
Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
the odds
It's
aren't in your favor.
It's tough to. I mean, I think everyone takes things personally that they don't need to or they shouldn't.
Yes.
But I feel like we're all trying to figure out how to kind of do this, be
And
alive, and interact with people. And so when something goes wrong. It's a natural thing to be like, what did I do?
And it's this weird contradictory thought process, which is, one, you're overestimating how much people think about you.
Yeah.
'Cause they just don't think about you.
That's true,
When they
yeah.
run into you, when you run into someone, like I run into someone after Chips didn't do well, and I'm like, oh, they feel so bad. This is so awkward for them. All they want to
Right.
say is like, oh, sorry, your movie didn't work. I'm thinking that, which is like a heightened sense of ego.
Right.
That they're
exactly.
even thinking about you.
Yeah.
Yet also my ego's saying you're a big piece of shit everyone feels bad for.
Right.
Right? And they just, neither of those make sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, there's a couple sayings in AA I love, which is like, one is alcoholics are egomaniacs with inferiority complexes.
Yep.
Or the center of the piece of shit that the universe revolves around.
That's funny.
They also say, I'm not much, but I'm all I think about.
I like all of those.
Yeah,
those are amazing.
they'll sum me up pretty well.
Yeah.
But this is one last kind of personal thing I want to ask you is I've had a couple of friends who've had really public marriages, and when they've got divorced, that already really painful experience is compounded by the fact that wherever they now go, everyone around them is also aware of what they're going through.
Right.
And it's just like pretty brutal.
Yeah.
You know? So I wondered, and this is, you don't have to answer this, but I just wondered, when your father died, did you feel like this thing that should have been a private family moment was open to the world, and did you resent that, and did you not like that everywhere you went you probably could sense people? Because I guess when my dad died, I enjoyed that I could leave that little bubble I was in of sadness, and I could go to Home Depot, and no one in there knew my dad died, so they weren't going, oh my God, I'm so sorry, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I could leave that.
Right.
I'm not comfortable in that situation where people are consoling me. And I lived for those breaks from that, you know?
Yeah.
And I just wonder, like, were you trapped in that at that time where, like, you just felt like, God, I can't, everywhere I go, someone's going to hit me with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Gosh, I say it's interesting when I'm stalling. Interesting is like my
I was like, get me out of this.
That's basically what I'm saying. I'm not like, my answer is going to be interesting. I don't know. It might not be. But my answer is that... you know, I think grief is such a specific thing for everyone, and it's a lifelong journey. I mean, there are like waves and you know, it's
and there's
like
no closure to it.
Not really.
Right.
It's just like here's a new hole in your heart.
Yeah.
Like there you go. And then you know, so you have better days and you know, and tough days and
Yeah, you can go long period. I've gone long periods of time where I go like, oh, I'm over that.
Yeah.
My dad dying, and then I have a dream about him.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like,
Those
he's
are the
super
best.
healthy in the dream, and because also it gets weird when you deal with a parent dying. For me, not for you, I guess in your case, but for me, you spend so much time at the end where they've devolved physically and all these things that ends up being kind of your memory, and then I'll have these dreams and I'll go like, oh, that's right, he was this robust guy I used to think of as like powerful and strong and all this. And it's weird. The whole thing's kind of a mind fuck that way.
Yeah, I mean, mine was just like, I saw him earlier that
Zero.
week, and then it was just like, hey, we got him into the hospital, but he's fine. He had a thing, and then I got to the hospital, and they were like,
Oh my
it's
God.
not fine.
Yeah.
Um,
I do believe that's the worst version of.
It's the hardest, I think, for the. Well, who knows? It all sucks. It's all.
Yeah.
It really is tough. But I think.
Wait,
you know,
there's no kick-ass way to lose a loved one?
No, there isn't. I mean, I
Did
almost.
you hear about Mike's Uncle Randy dying?
Pretty
Fucking
good way to
titties.
go.
Yeah.
No,
He's stoked.
Everyone's like pretty okay with it.
Just left the bar. Randy was fucking raging, man.
I mean, you know, you look for silver linings and things, and I'm glad that he wasn't in a lot of pain, and
Yeah.
you know, there are things like that. But I also didn't ever get a chance to say goodbye.
Yeah,
or
that
things
would
like
be
that.
the
So
heartbreaking.
that kind of stuff. But the tough thing was initially there would be times where I would be having kind of an okay moment.
Yeah.
And someone would
Which
come
you're
up and grab
entitled
my
to.
arm and have this face like.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes.
And I'd be like, I know it's, and then all of a sudden, because they need to have this moment with me,
Yes.
I all of a sudden have to dive into my grief, and there was this one time where I was with my fiance. Woo! It all worked out, guys. After all that. It was like one of the first times, and then we were at a bar. I was not drinking. We were just at a bar hanging out.
Hey, who am I to judge?
And someone saw me, and basically this woman said something to me, and then she went, "Oh my gosh!" And she went, "I loved your dad so much." And then she made a pouty face.
Oh boy.
And then
Okay,
she went,
sure.
"R.I.P." Anyway, blah 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 blah. And like,
Wait, did
No.
she say hashtag RIP or just?
she might have.
Oh
It
my
was, she just went,
goodness.
R.I.P. Anyway, blah, 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 and just started talking to her friend. And
R.I.P. Don't eat all the calamari, bitch. She's such a bitch. Becky's such a bitch. I can't turn my back for 2 seconds and say R.I.P. without her eating all the calamari.
Melanie was like shocked and like.
Isn't it great to have a partner in those
Yeah,
moments?
it's
Where
kind
you're
of
like, oh right, I'm not bonkers. That was nuts, right?
But as soon as she turned away, now that she had said R.I.P. and just sort of dropped out of my lap,
Oh my
I just
goodness.
to the back of her head, very quietly, I went, "Well, thank you so much, like for bringing this up. I mean, some of my greatest friends I don't even talk to about this stuff. But and I just like had this whole thing, and then we got to kind of laugh about it. But it was, you know, you get more used to it. But for the most part, what's happened with the fact that it was like that it's sort of public is now that I've also kind of dealt with it and all that kind of stuff. Now, if people come up to me and they maybe have a nice story about him or something like that, I love that. I collect that, and it's nice to hear, you know, like those little moments. Because there's, you know, I wasn't with him at all times growing up, and so
your
you
mother
hear a story of him out in the world.
Every show. I said your mother was. It sounds like every show.
She certainly was.
But yeah, I can so relate to when it was with my father. Same thing. Like the people would come up to me and they'd be like, "Oh," just like you're saying, like all these weird faces, and then I would find like I'm now consoling them. Like, it's okay though. He had a thing, and I'm trying to like put a positive spin on it. I guess it's just my nature.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how did this turn? There's something broken about the whole social construct of this. Because you end up consoling these people who are there ostensibly to console you.
Well,
I guess everyone just feels awkward as fuck, and you don't know what to say, and we're all.
We still haven't figured out, because also it's so specific that there's no way someone can come up to you and say the exact right thing where you're like, that's exactly what I needed to hear, and I'm healed.
Yeah,
you know, it's like it's impossible. So even though we've come all of this way in our humanity and our arts and science and all these things, we still are like, sorry, it's gone now. I don't know how to say it, but it is bizarre. It's a strange thing. Yeah, it's weird. Like you think you're over something like that.
Yes.
And then there was an episode in the first season of Queer Eye.
Okay.
Which is a lovely show all about kindness. And the guy had to come out to his stepmom, and his father had died or something. Uh-huh. And I cried in all of those episodes, like normal, look over, like, oh, how beautiful isn't life? And then that episode ended, and I just was like, something. It was actually exactly what happened to me when I read Where the Red Fern Grows. Where my friend was like, dude, have you finished the book? You're going to cry. You're going to cry. And I was like, I've actually never cried, and not from a book. So,
when I do cry, it won't be from a book. It'll be from breaking a world record jumping Caesar's Palace on a Harley.
Exactly. And I got to the end of the book, and I was like, oh, something is wrong in my body. I went up to my mom and I was like, "Hey, Mom, I was reading that book. The dogs died." I couldn't even get and that's what happened to me with this episode, where all of a sudden I was bent over the dishwasher. It was so weird, and I was like, "This is still here." This pain is over 15 years old.
Yeah.
And it's just you deal with it and you go through it, and then all of a sudden it's just oh no, buddy, I've been here the whole time.
Yeah. I was doing push-ups.
Exactly.
I'm stronger than ever, motherfucker.
Yeah. You never cried
like that episode of Queer Eye?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It really took me by surprise. Melanie was like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, I'm having an allergic reaction.
To life.
To life.
I'm allergic to the plight of being human.
To heartache.
So this literally is the last thing I'm going to ask you before you go, because I'm going to use you right now for guidance, because you grew up in a situation that my kids are now growing up, and it's very important to me to try to do as good of a job as I can. What things did they do right, and what did they do wrong? That's a big question. But like you're out with your dad. People recognize him. They're taking up your time. I have a thing, like I think I'm generally nice in public when I meet people, when I'm by myself. But when I'm with my kids, I'm not very nice because I'm like, it's her time. And this is her only shot at this time.
It's similar. You know, one of the weird things about having a third generation is that my dad grew up seeing his dad, and his father was like very loving. At like, you know, he was like, these are the people who are watching my movies and all these things. So he would sign autographs until there was no one left.
Yeah.
And my dad would kind of feel like, what about me a little bit?
Yeah, you would feel picked over.
And so there were lots of times growing up where my dad always was very nice, never was like mean to anybody, but sometimes would say, hey, you know what? I'm just trying to like I'm just being a dad with my kids right now, and people would be like, you know, there are some people I would be like, just do what they want. It's not like people pleaser, but it was also, in hindsight, it was really nice. He like prioritized us in a way where, you know, even if people were like, wow, or whatever, you know, you know, they.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those, and then I go, I'm gonna have to live with that person thinking I'm a dick. But my daughter
knows you
being at my deathbed. It's a pretty easy choice for me to make.
So yeah, I mean, I think that was the thing, and I also think my dad had a very healthy relationship to like the attention. Yeah, like he was like, this is a byproduct of this thing that I love so much, and that I'm lucky enough to get to do. He always talked about how lucky he was, and you know, it's a profession where people who are insanely talented don't get you know, it just goes the other way. And then
our friend Jess Rowland should be like a franchise movie star, and I don't know why he's not. He's
Definitely.
just there's talent level, and so, I know 30 people like that.
Yeah, and then you also know 30 people where you're like, that guy?
What the fuck? Yeah. Really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so tempted to name names. One of them would make Monica storm out of here.
Don't even. No, I know exactly who.
Yeah.
But yeah,
his initials are BA. Anyways, go ahead.
Mr. T's character from
B.A. Baracus.
I love him.
I don't think he's an amazing actor. I said it. Mr. T's not an amazing actor.
I'll walk out.
How dare you?
That's totally a bit. I love it.
Me too. Yeah. So no, I think that was. Both he and my mom were really kind of like, you know, you're not special. No, they were like, you know, it doesn't. Basically, this is a. I don't know. There was always a kind of reminder of the things that in life that are real, and that's the relationships we make and the way we treat other people and the, you know, things like that. The golden rule was basically the whole thing. Just how would that feel to you if someone did that to you?
Yeah.
And all that kind of stuff.
Because what's really weird is I think our 5-year-old fully comprehends what's going on. They know that their mother is Princess Anna's voice. They understand that. They've seen her record the voice. They've seen us on TV. They know that. They've seen us take a bunch of pictures with strangers. They know all that. So my assumption is like, well, they get it. But the other day I was talking to Lincoln, and she said, there's this weird conversation about, you know, she was asking me, do people like Monica more than you? Because we were in the attic. Yeah.
Now we'll find out.
We were in the attic of where we record it. Like, she and I were just up there playing, and then she goes, do people like Monica more than you? And I go, yeah, some people like Monica more than me. And she goes, well, do some people like you more than Monica? And I go, yeah, I think some people like me more than Monica. And she goes, well, why did they listen to the show? And I go, well, I think initially they listened to the show more for me because I'm more famous than Monica. And she goes, you're famous? And I go, yeah. I go, why do you think people take pictures of me and Mom? And she goes, Mom's famous?
I think that means you're doing something right.
What is going on? like, I don't understand. Like, that word has this meaning already somehow at 5 years old. That's a different thing than being in movies and shit, which she totally knows we are.
Right, exactly.
But we're like Justin Bieber somehow or something. I don't even really know, but it just kind of...
Are you an influencer?
Are you an influencer? Well, it's not going to get better than that. Jason Ritter, I thank you so much for doing our inaugural run.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for having me.
Yes. So grateful. Please stay tuned for the fact check after this beautiful musical interlude by Bob Mervac that was part of the live experience.
This one's about being out on the road. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. So I would technically be out on the road. But it doesn't feel like out on the road. It feels like home. In a westerly direction, this car is my train. I'm driving and I'm wondering what it is I'm running from again. And I feel like an 80-year-old man holding on to 29. And up ahead on that horizon is the California line. Of my freedom of the road, never was good with decisions. Hey, that's what I've been told. And up ahead of trucks carrying a wide load, a pretty fat house cut in half, yeah. A cute little front door and 2 windows. Ain't sure whether to cry or should I laugh. You see, I broke a home up myself once. As I stumbled to that door, I read your note by the dawn's lights. It said, don't you come around here anymore. Yeah, and I've had enough of my freedom of the road. Never was good with decisions. At least that's what I've been told. Oh, and I've been holding on to my ticket, because one day I'll pay my toll. Magic road grants you freedom. Someone else, cause I'll be coming home. Yes, I am. But don't you know, there'll be no more pay-per-view movies in these economy motels. No more trash in my back seat from Burger King or Taco Bell. No more playing my trump cards with the ladies in the lounge. I think I'll leave a little something for the next tremendous scrounge. And I mean it this time. I mean it, yes I do. And I know there's got to be someone out there who thinks that I still have a home. I got his picture in my back pocket, along with these rocks I found in Arizona that I want to show him. And I know I'm gonna return to an awkward silence, cause there's so much work I've never known. But I know that I can make amends, cause this traveling man's days are done. Child of my freedom of the road. Yeah, the good Lord's gonna come down and help me before I go. And I feel it. I'm holding on my ticket, because one day I'll pay my toll. Magic road grants you freedom, your sweet freedom. Cause I'll be coming home. Yes, I will. Thank you so much. Thank you, folks. I appreciate that.
You can love it. You can live it. You can check out the facts now. I wish I knew some of the words to Mac Miller.
Oh.
Did you not even recognize that that was the song?
I'm so sorry.
We need to go to therapy.
No. Well, what was it?
I just gifted those songs
I know,
to
but
you.
I've been mainly. I think that's the one that I'm not listening to.
Okay, Mac Miller.
What's the use?
What's the use?
That's the one.
Check the facts.
Yeah, I like that, but I'm more listening to
Soulmate
and Ladders.
Ladders is phenomenal.
Yeah.
2009 spectacular too.
Oh, I don't have that one.
If you're not aware of Mac Miller, he passed recently of a drug overdose. That's how I learned of him. I heard about his sad story first, and then I decided to check out his music. Now I'm a goddamn addicted.
You are.
We're a goddamn addicted?
Yeah, and he has one song.
Which is just bonkers. I heard this song as I was going through all the different songs, and I'm listening to it, and I'm like, are they sampling Good Will Hunting?
Oh.
And not only are they sampling Good Will Hunting, but the fucking song's called Soulmate.
Yeah.
So I immediately shot it over to you.
You did,
a
yeah.
gift.
Yeah.
And I said, this gentleman wrote a song for you.
Mm-hmm.
I
was
can't imagine a
powerful.
song being more tailor-made for you.
Couldn't be. Not possible.
No. Unless there was a little part in it where they talked about cheerleading. But other than that, and Mike Sure. If it was like Soulmate, Goodwill Hunting, cheerleading and Mike Sure, it would have just been
Slam
an
dunk.
explosion.
Yeah, it was an explosion.
Still an explosion.
Yeah. Okay. Jason Ritter.
Oh my God, what a sweetie.
What a cutie pie.
Just the cutest. Dr. Sear. He
Yeah.
wasn't a doctor, Mr. Sear.
Oh, but he could have easily been a doctor.
For sure.
Yeah, he was smart enough
Yeah.
and cute enough.
He's cute enough to be a doctor for sure. A face doctor.
Yeah, I like him. You're going to be mad about something.
What?
I took a little hiatus
You took hiatus?
from parenthood.
What the fuck are you talking about here now? What are you coming at me with right now?
At night, you know how I watch it before bed?
It's your Ambien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been on hiatus.
Oh, geez. What have you been getting into?
Well, I got a little nervous that I was missing out on a lot of stuff on Netflix.
Sure.
That's my only time to watch TV.
I think we all get Netflix anxiety.
Exactly.
Dish.
Also, because you were talking so much about comedians and cars,
Getting coffee.
getting coffee. And
Do you start plowing through those?
then I was like, oh, I need to watch this. So then I've been watching that, but I only make it a few minutes in because I think it's keeping me awake.
It's too stimulating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I should go back to parenthood.
I think I've shared this on here before, but yeah, I got the Keith Richards autobiography for my nighttime listening on Audible, and I thought, oh, this will be great. No way.
No,
I would stay up all night long. It's
Yeah.
all about drugs and rock and roll and blues chords and tuning your guitar weird and
Yeah.
getting arrested in the South.
Have you been arrested?
Never been arrested.
I
Isn't
thought about that
bonkers?
the other day, and I was like, that is so shocking
It is.
because I have so many friends who've been arrested,
As do I.
but they're good boys.
Good boys. Yeah, and I was a bad boy.
Yeah.
I've had many conversations with law enforcement where, like, I'm thinking, oh, yeah, this jig's finally up. I'm going to the clinky.
Slammer.
I mean, the most incredible story, do you remember I told you Aaron Weekly and I, my best friend,
We should talk about that.
he was just visiting.
Yeah. I got to see it in action.
You did.
I did, and I really liked it.
You did.
Yeah.
My
He's
son.
so sweet.
Isn't he the sweetest? Well, we did mushrooms on a camping trip. And what the hell? If you're from Michigan, you'll know we went to Silver Lake to the sand dunes, and we were at this campground, and we did mushrooms, and we were laughing too loud. And our friends made us leave because they were afraid we were going to get kicked out of the campground. So we're like, fine, we'll go take a walk. So we're walking down this like little 2-lane road in the middle of nowhere, and we see all these kids running. It's probably 1 a.m. These kids are running down the dark road at us. And at first we're scared. There's like 5 guys sprinting towards us. So first it's panic, and then they just run past us, and we're like, oh, that's really weird. And then about 5 minutes later, a car's coming down the road, and a car hits a huge rock that those kids clearly put in the road.
Ugh.
The car goes off into the ditch. The people are fine in the car, but Aaron and I are standing there on mushrooms. So it clearly looks like we've done this, right?
Oh, no.
And so the cops arrive, and they start asking us questions. And at first, Aaron and I are standing together, and the cop goes, well, what happened? We go, look, we're trying to explain that these kids did it. It wasn't us. And the cop goes to Aaron, well, what did you see? And he goes, listen, that chrome Ferrari was hauling ass and just blasted right into that porta potty. He said that they were driving a chrome Ferrari and it smashed into a porta potty. And I was like, oh my God, what has he just said? He's just completely blown our position. So we start laughing uncontrollably. They separate us. Now he's on the other side of the road. One cop's interviewing him, another is interviewing me, and we can't stop laughing even across the street from one another. They didn't arrest us, and later the next day, my conclusion was they just thought we were the town idiots. Like that we were so stupid.
You're lucky.
Yeah.
Can't believe
That
you don't
story's
think
not
that
very
you've
good.
taken the blue pill. You've so taken the blue pill. It's crazy.
What does that mean again? That means that
The matrix, that you're living in a good matrix.
Oh, a good matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to be able to tell that story better. We had been talking about chrome Ferraris before the whole incident, and how sweet it would be to have a chrome Ferrari and arrive everywhere.
Sure.
So then it was just on the tip of his tongue. But then a porta potty, and he said the porta potty had something in it, like some kind of meat.
Poop?
No, meat. It was like the porta potty was stuffed with meat. Yeah.
Oh my God.
I want to stop telling the story. Some drug stories are bad because you're like, I wasn't there, and I'm just getting very self-conscious
Don't
about
worry,
it.
okay? I really liked seeing you with him.
You did?
Yeah, you're so, well, first of all, has he always been your son? Or is he
Yeah.
He has.
He's
Okay.
always been my son, yeah.
Okay.
Since like 7th or 8th grade, he started calling me dad.
Okay, I didn't know if he became your son as an adult.
No, but we had been, he had been calling me dad for so long that there was a period where I was 18 while he was still 17. There was 6 months.
Oh.
And
you could have been his
talked
dad.
very sincerely about me adopting him officially and legally. It was a fantasy we had.
Yeah.
But we were too lazy to go through with all that paperwork. I've never adopted anyone, but it
It's
seems
a lot of red tape.
Also, he had parents, which was probably
They would have been upset.
precluded him from being adopted by me.
Sure. Well, I don't know that that's
An issue?
true, but it would have been extra work.
It would have probably been extra work.
Would have had to get divorced from his parents first and then adopted
Get
by
emancipated.
you. Yeah. But you were really cute, and you're so affectionate with him.
Oh, yeah. He
It
is
was
my
really
sweetest soulmate, my son.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Okay.
All right.
So, the Country Music Hall of Fame. We didn't know what that entailed. Like, what do you get?
Right.
And I still don't know what you get because I think you only know if you have it. Very rare.
Sure.
It's the highest honor a country music professional can receive.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
I know. Extended to performers, songwriters, broadcasters, musicians, and executives. Yeah. And, one thing that you do get is I guess there are some bronze portraits honoring each Hall of Fame member.
Oh, like a bronze bust.
Correct.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a bust or just the face.
Or just the abdomen. A
just
bronze abdomen.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. You know what?
What?
I have been, that's where Houston Estes got married. I went
The
to
Tennessee State Museum?
No,
no,
the
the Country Music
the
Hall of Fame.
Yes. And now that I'm thinking about it, I rolled by some of those bronze busts.
You did? Yeah,
it's
they
all
were moved
coming
over there.
Back to me now. It was a very elegant wedding. Fun was had by all.
Yeah, and apparently there was a very tasty cake that I'll never have.
An incredible cake.
Even though they sent us the cake because they knew that you guys liked it and that the rest of us wanted a bite. But the problem is they don't send the right top if it's in the mail.
It was missing a topping, yeah.
They put caramel instead of marshmallow.
Right. It was a bang-em-up cake.
I really want it.
Well, just ask Houston to get married again.
And invite me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will. Okay, so you said you had orthodontia from second grade to senior year. I was very skeptical of that.
Okay.
That's a long time.
It sure is.
So I asked your mom. She said, and I quote,
Oh, boy.
she said, I believe so because he had to spend so many years in that contraption that stretched his lower jaw out to fit the...
This does sound like a Laura LeBeau quote.
to fit the same as the upper jaw. And then he had to have teeth removed. And then he had to have braces. I mean, it was a very long process. Now, do I think it was 7th grade to senior year? I can't tell you, but it sure sounds close.
Yeah, second grade to senior year.
I know. Oh, then I
yeah.
said that. And she said, yeah, that it was a typo.
Okay.
So she meant that.
Okay.
Yeah. She said it sounded right.
Well, I had like virtually a decade of just retainers.
Yeah.
Before they even were able to correct all the crookedness.
So did you have braces?
Yes, eventually
Okay.
I had braces, but first they had to, like, as she said,
Get it prepared.
elongate my mandible to get rid of that overbite. And then they popped some teeth out in 7th grade.
Right.
And put some packing in there to try to make them grow in correctly.
Yeah.
I don't even know that helped, but whatever.
Sure.
It was forever.
Just second grade is so young. Your mouth hasn't even fully formed.
Well, that's when you need to get at that mandible when it's still pliable.
When it's still
it was still
loose.
wet before it's fully dried. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But I got braces in 6th grade, which was early for most people. Not you, but it was early for most.
Yeah, I'd already been in for 4 years at that point.
And there was a lot of talk about it. I think my dentist thought it was a terrible idea.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because they were going to shift so much anyways. Oh,
Yeah, he was like, we don't know what's going to happen with her teeth.
right.
But they did it anyway.
And it worked. You have a great
Sure.
smile.
We don't know what it would have looked like.
Well, were they all janky before you got those?
No.
They weren't?
They were
You got
perfect.
braces
I'm just
with
kidding.
straight teeth?
No, they were straight. It was about my bite.
Oh, it
I had a
was?
cross bite.
Ooh, that's weird.
Yeah, apparently.
That sounds up there with an underbite.
It looked normal. It just they were crossed.
Okay. Inverted.
Yeah.
Crisscross applesauce.
Okay, you said you have dreams that your teeth fall out a lot. Okay, so that means insecurity.
Oh.
A dream about teeth falling out can represent feeling insecure about some part of yourself or your life. The anxiety you feel in the dream about having missing teeth can therefore symbolize your concerns over self-worth, self-image, or how you're treated by others.
That's really interesting. But when you were talking about Aaron Weekly a second ago, my best friend, I wanted to tell you that I had about a 2.5-hour dream last night that Aaron and I were living together. And we were in my old apartment in Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Not Santa Barbara, Santa Monica.
Okay.
And I was divorced.
Oh.
And so I
okay.
was sent back to live in that apartment. And it had been forever since I had been in that apartment, like 10 years, but it occurred to me, I just kept paying the rent just to have it as a backup plan in my dream. So there I am, and Aaron's there. And a fucking guy, all of a sudden I realized there's a second room of that apartment, and this scary guy comes out.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and the scary guy has been living there squatting. He broke in, and he's been living there. And at first, we were kind of, thinking we got to get rid of this guy. He had a pistol.
Oh, my.
But then we started talking civilly to one another.
Okay.
And then the guy, turns out, he wasn't a bad guy. And it was agreed that we were going to let him just live in that room. Okay. And then at the very end of the dream, he said, do you, I don't have much, but I have weed. Do you want some weed? And I said, no, I don't smoke weed. And he said, well, I also have some cocaine that I put in my beverages, which I thought was interesting. And then he had my attention.
Okay.
And then I thought, this is going to be rough because I don't know if I can live in this 2-bedroom apartment with a guy where I know there's cocaine in the other room. So I don't know if you can unpack that one on the next episode, but that was last night's dream.
That one makes me scared.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Relapse dreams are very common among sober people. Most of
Yeah.
the dudes I know that are sober have relapse dreams all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
But did he have a porta potty full of meat, that guy?
That he blasted through in his chrome Ferrari? No.
Strange. Kristen did go on a date with Jake Gyllenhaal. She did do that. I asked her, and she did.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
JG.
Occam's razor. It's a principle from philosophy. You can tell me if this rings true to you.
Can I? Well, I'm such a show off. You read it.
No, you can. You said it, so you can tell us.
It's the simplest explanation is most often the right explanation.
Yep.
Is that close?
That's about it. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suppose there exists two explanations for an occurrence. In this case, the one that requires the least speculation is usually better. Yeah.
I think it's true in science. I think they say in science often as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem right to me in science.
I think
not
so. Like if
always.
you're trying to figure out some scientific phenomena and you create a theory that requires like 6 or 7 steps versus someone has an explanation that only requires one step, one occurrence, it's far more likely that it's something that only requires one occurrence than multiple. Like for water boiling, if they're observing water boiling, one person could say, well, maybe heat underneath the water caused it to boil. Or someone else could go, well, maybe we're at elevation. We're at 45,000 feet where the ATM is 0. And so the water, but multiple explanations of how the water's boiling. It just starts getting more preposterous than the easiest.
So sometimes it is the elevation and stuff.
Well, and I often talk about that. That's in the tipping point that airline accidents generally they're rarely one thing. It's generally accumulation of like 4 weird coincidences.
So this is the opposite.
Yeah, airline crashes are not Occam's razor.
Okay.
Some people say Occam's razor too.
Oh, you said Hail Caesar didn't do well financially, and it made $63 million.
It did? Is that
Worldwide.
Worldwide.
Domestic, $30 million. Yeah. Budget was $22 million.
So great. It was a profitable film. And I didn't mean to be disparaging about it.
You weren't.
Yeah.
You weren't at all. But I was just being specific.
This box office thing's become a hot button topic between you and I.
Why?
We have to tread so carefully.
Why? Because that what we got in a fight about?
Yeah, about Beverly Hills Cop.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I got touchy.
We don't really seem to avoid things that are touchy.
No, but it is funny, like in any given relationship, like people would be like, well, we just know not to talk about religion or politics. And our thing is we know better than to talk about box office numbers.
One thing, I feel like, you asked him about his virginity.
Oh, yeah. You voiced this concern after
I did?
we recorded it. Yeah. I think I know what you're going to say. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't even remember that. But you asked him about his virginity, and then he told us when it was. And I think the reaction was, it was really sweet. Mm-hmm. It was really sweet that he waited or that he was 20. Mm-hmm. But, and I don't think I said this after, because I don't think I thought it.
This is a different thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
But when I was listening, I was like, I don't know that we need to act like it's good or bad. Sure. At whatever age.
Yeah, but this kind of ties into one critique you had, which I agree with, because I have a hard time relating with it. When a guy like him is so cute and has such a great personality, it's hard for me to imagine he didn't like have a lot of girlfriends. And so I kind of thought maybe he was just plain innocent or not owning up to how much he chased skirt, as they would say in the 50s. But then when it was revealed that he didn't have sex at 20, I then acknowledged, oh no, he's legitimately was really shy and didn't approach women. So for me, the cuteness came from the fact that, oh, he wasn't just he really was shy. And I guess I thought it was the shyness that was cute.
Right. That's true. But also just because you aren't having sex doesn't necessarily mean because you're shy.
He's not playing pocket pool and stuff. He could be a total pervert. Is that what you're saying?
No, that is the opposite of what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm saying
that it would be just fine.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's fine.
This is where I'm
whatever.
wrong. I can admit I'm wrong. I can only remember what me and my friends were like at that age.
Yeah.
And not everyone's that way.
Right. Well, you told me to fact check this, but we've talked about it on another episode, I think, about the role reversal between English girls and all of that whole thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't then, and I still can't find anything to corroborate that. But so go ahead.
I'm going to have to find that.
You are.
I'm going to, because even when I had that lunch with Eric Weinstein, he was like, no way.
He said no way.
He said there's no way.
It goes totally against your point about biology and evolution and men needing to spread their seed and women being which you act on that a lot.
I sure do. But I never would underestimate the power of culture. We do so many things that are like completely bonkers to our biology.
If that's true, then that argument should override all of these other arguments. Like, then we can train a culture to not have any of that.
Yeah, we can transcend all of our stuff. I'm very pro transcending our animal instincts. You and I just generally argue, in my opinion, I'm interested in causality or explanation, not excuse. That's where you and I seem to cross wires. Is you think I'm making an excuse. I'm just interested in the explanation. And I'm fine to then transcend that, but I think it's relevant to know what you're up against first.
Well, and then what I need is you to say, but we can move beyond we can and into a solution.
Yeah, but the tasty thing we could debate is how is it going to evolve? Like there is a mating ritual between animals, and the current mating ritual seems to be increasingly getting outmoded. It needs to change, but it's going to require an equal evolution on the female side as there is in the male side. So the male's got to fucking pump the brakes and get respectful. And then women are going to have to be more assertive, or people just aren't going to fuck.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I'm fully game for the conversation for young boys, but I'm not hearing any conversation about what are young girls being told.
Well, I think right now there's a focus on
let's clean up this thing first. Okay.
The thing that's
fair.
more harmful.
Sure.
And then, but I totally agree with you that it does require a full societal shift across both genders. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all.
Okay, great. Well, wonderful. I think we fixed it.
We fixed it.
I love you.
I love you.